play. So, some protection broke down. I thought Nate actually extended a few plays more than I think most people think he could, and I thought he actually did a nice job of that. And one time I thought he had a guy on the scramble in the middle, and he wanted the guy to sit down. The guy didn't. They misconnected. I thought a couple times we had some guys coming open over the top where protection didn't last. I thought a couple times we got to look at our timing of how we call plays because we had things that were kind of there, but I don't know if our guys had enough gas in the tank to go get it. And so sometimes the way we call it, package it, there's running around. There's just certain things we got to do that makes it easier for our guys. Because again, to me, I know I felt as much this game as any game that not that we're playing hard, but I said, man, we're close and just a little off, and it's going to be frustrating to look at this tape because we're leaving some things out there. So I don't think Nate was necessarily rattled as much as their style. And of course, now Trey can make a few more plays, even extend it more. And again, there's not going to be a quarterback controversy. I mean, Nate's still our guy. But Trey can do some things, and he's not a wildcat guy. I think you can see his passing percentage today was probably as good or better than Nate's. I just think they're both very gifted and both uniquely gifted and both a little different. We got to keep finding ways to use them. And there's no slide on Cam Coffey. You guys don't even see that much right now. He's actually pretty good. So, but they need to play better. I said a week ago, Nate didn't play as good as the numbers, but he missed some things he needs to get better at. And that's his fourth start. And to me, today's his fourth start, his first true road game start, playing against as competitive and as good a defense there is in this league and potentially in this country. And missed a few things, but it's a great learning experience, and we'll keep pushing him. We got to be better there.
You mentioned them picking up the third downs. I guess on the flip side, what concerned you about what you guys did against them on third down defensively?
And again, we haven't been, to me, and that's to me when we talk about what we do, our ability to keep the ball in the way we play makes us better or not. And so again, you got to look at it, and there's sometimes we will actually do some things against them that sometimes it's maybe a little quicker than you want, but you're doing that so they can't get as multiple in their looks. They can be very complex in their ability to disguise where they're coming from, show you blitz one way, come the other way, blah, blah, blah. So that being said, sometimes we'll kind of take a stab at it, and we'll go fast enough to help ourselves, but sometimes it's fast enough to not be clean for your quarterbacks. That's why, I don't think Nate was poor or rattled or off as much as just it was competitive and tough, and he didn't get a lot of help. And that's what happens when you play against a pretty good defense. We got to keep pushing and learning.
I know you said your kids play hard. Does tackling kind of remain an issue, though, from what you
said? But again, we got to keep looking at structure, alignment, be interested again. My eyes are a little bit more offensive oriented, so I don't know if I can. I know from what I've seen on tape in previous weeks, we talk about being, again, structurally cleaner, and keeping leverage on the ball and gaps on the ball so you can cancel gaps and tackle better. So it'll be interesting to see. I do think they wrinkled up a few things formationally that got us misaligned a little bit more than needs to be. So it'll be interesting to see how we can continue to clean up. But again, you do need to tackle. Again, we missed some. They got a couple strong backs and a couple good runners, but again, they played pretty good today.
Kevin, have you ever contemplated slowing down the pace of your offense, if only to help out the defense? I mean, they only had 78 snaps today, so it wasn't like the 94 or 97 you've seen.
I mean, we actually did our first year, and it was our worst offense statistics, team statistics, all that. I mean, our deal is we got to score some points without turning the ball over in the third down conversions. And we went into this game, I think we were ahead of Oregon in time of possession. I think they're second in the country in score deep. Now they got different players, I guess, but that's a speed-up team. So, again, you still can make tackles. You still can get them on third down and get them stopped. We need to help our defense, yes, but we also need to help our team. And our deal, we made one kicking play today. We had one huge kicking play. We got the fumble recovery. But to win on the road, you got to. You need a kick play or two more to go your way. You can't let them run it down your throat. Offensively, you need a run game. Coleman had, 79 yards? He had 64 on one clip, so he's got 15 carries for 14 yards. So, or 14 carries for 15 yards, whatever it is. I mean, it's 1 yard to carry the rest of the game. That doesn't win football games on the road. So, I mean, to me, it's conversions, both sides. And again, they're sitting here, 10 of 14, and or the other side about 5 of 14 or something like that. I don't know the exact numbers top of my head, so I think they were 10 of 14. So we got to get a stop. But again, to me, we weren't gonna win this game 17-13. And those 28 points is the most they've given up in 2 years. 27 was the most they gave up last year. We had that in half. I mean, this team doesn't give up points. And you gotta beat this team as a team. We needed a pick six. We needed a block punt or a punt return, and we didn't. And we needed a couple of defensive stops. And we needed the offense to not get a post chop, so we got down the 5-yard line, you got 7 points there instead of being a punt that you didn't get. So you had a few opportunities, so you ended up being a 14-point game. You're sweating uphill, but you had a few opportunities to get close. And when you're playing not a heavyweight, but a pretty good prize fighter, you know, you can't go in there and spar and jab. You need to make some plays to connect, and we just didn't connect enough to me.
2 more questions.
You went into this knowing that they were going to, man you up outside and do a lot of press coverage and stuff like that. It seemed like you tried to attack that early and it didn't work. Was it just a case of them just being just that good on the coverage, or was there something else in terms of the way they structure it?
You know, and a couple times too, just so in the wrong way, a couple times where he went to, as fast as we're going, the quarterback's got to process, and sometimes he's processing wrong. And it's also easy for me to run the clicker back 15 times and say, you should, when he's got about 1.3 seconds. And that's a part of Nate learning how to process and play, and he's doing really, really good. And number 5's getting better too. So, you go out there, again, to me, the perimeter is going to be, you attack it downfield, you attack it outside. And initially early, they actually spread out a little bit. That's why we were able to hit the one crease on the one run. But again, as soon as you did, they made their adjustments. I mean, the best thing about Coach Antonio and Coach Narduzzi is they know their package, know how to adjust it, and we need to get to that point on both sides of the ball at our place. And that's a program I respect. And as we build our team, they do a lot of things in building their O&D that we need to, even though we attack it differently offensively, there's some things they do that's, I think that's why it's the second winningest team in the Big Ten here in the last 6-7 years since they've been up here. So that ain't an accident. So a lot of respect for them. Kind of battled toe and toe, came up a little bit short, but we'll keep rolling. That's one.
Did Nate get banged up there at the end, or did you?
What's up, Bill?
Yeah, it seemed like he was having a problem with his knee brace.
Yeah, I'll take one more. He's fine. That wasn't even a real question. He's good. He's going to try. I didn't know he was hurting. You get it? There's me. Anybody, anything else? Guys, good? Appreciate you coming. Have safe travels.